These are the traits you should be looking for in a woman. Hey everybody, in this video, I'm going to be talking about traits that you should be looking for in a woman other than her looks. Too many people focus only on looks, and I have seen men pass up some really amazing potential relationships because they were like, wow, she doesn't quite look a certain way. They will often have this idea in their mind. She has to be this tall. She has to have this color hair. She has to have this size body. She has to have this size boobs. But those aren't really the things that make an amazing relationship. So in this video, I have 14 things that you should be looking for that are far more important than looks. But before we do that, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Doing so greatly helps the channel. I can see that YouTube suppresses a lot of my videos and doesn't share them with people. So the more that you like a video, you share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel, the more it helps me get this information out. Hey everybody, I am Kevin Anthony and I am a certified sexologist, Tantra Counselor, NLP Practitioner, and sex, love, and relationship coach. And for over a decade, I have been helping men, women, and couples have the relationship of their dreams and the best sex of their lives. Okay, so here we go. The first thing that you should be looking for in a woman is she loves you and is dedicated and devoted to you. This is so hugely important. Would you rather be with a woman who looks beautiful on your arm, but isn't really in love with you and isn't devoted to being your woman? I certainly wouldn't want to. So it's really important that you find a woman who really is willing to, of course, providing that you're stepping up as a quality man and deserve it, a woman who is willing to really devote herself to being your woman. Number 2, she sees the relationship as a team, and she wants to work together with you as a team for the benefit of each of you individually and the relationship as a whole and as the world as a whole, right? This is really, really important. You need to work together as a team, and unfortunately, what I see a lot in the work that I do is I'm seeing couples who are literally, they're like on opposite sides of the game, so to speak. In other words, if we're using the team analogy, they show up as if they are opposing teams playing the game together but against each other, and that's just not how it's supposed to be. You are supposed to work together as a team. So one of the things you should look for in a woman is that she sees a relationship as exactly that, a team where you are working together for the common good. Number 3, she supports your goals and visions. It is so important that your partner support your goals and visions. And, they don't necessarily have to love the things that you love as far as your goals. Like, in other words, maybe you really are in a certain business that you are dedicated to and you love and you really want to be successful in. She doesn't necessarily have to love that particular business. I mean, maybe, I don't know, you sell rocks or something like that. She doesn't have to be a huge lover of rocks, but what she has to be is willing to support you in your quest to be the most amazing rock producer and salesman on the planet. Number 4, she inspires you to be the best version of yourself that you can be, and she's willing to get in there and support you in doing so. That doesn't mean that she's doing stuff for you or making you do work on yourself or anything like that. It just means that she is there to support you. When you show up and you say, I want to go to that men's retreat on the weekend, she doesn't say, oh, on the weekend, but we were going to do this thing, and why are you always, blah, blah, blah. She says, wow, a men's retreat, what are they going to do there? Well, you see, they're going to support us in working through our emotions, or they're going to, teach us how to step up and be better men, or they're going to, help us have more confidence in ourselves and as men. She should go, wow, that sounds amazing. I will absolutely support you in going to that. And that's just one example, but she should be willing to support you to become the best version of yourself, whatever that takes. Now, obviously, it's a relationship. There's a give and take. If all you are ever doing is working on yourself and you are not giving time and energy to the relationship, that's a problem. And she would be perfectly in her rights to voice a concern about that. However, in general, she should be willing to support you in becoming the best version of yourself. Number 5, she treats you like a king. This is absolutely true. Now, mind you, all of these things I'm talking about go basically the same in the other direction. In other words, you should be treating her like a queen. She should be treating you like a king. What do we mean by that? Well, kings are revered. They are respected. People will do things for kings. That's how your woman should look at you. She should look at you like you are a king. Now, that doesn't mean you get to rule over her with an iron fist. That's not what I'm talking about. But she should be treating you like the king that you are. Now, of course, that means you need to step up and act like the good, beneficial king, right? But as long as you're doing that, she should be there treating you like a king, and you should be treating her like the queen. Number 6, she shares your values and goals. It's really, really, really important that your partner shares your values. They don't have to be aligned 100%, but the big important values do need to be aligned. I have had multiple guests on the podcast talking about how important it is that your values are in alignment in a relationship. So that's really important. And goals should also be in alignment. Now, I mentioned in one of the previous ones that she should support your goals and visions, and your goals could be things like, I want to be successful in the rock selling business, right? That's not what I'm talking about here. When I'm talking about your goals should be shared or in alignment, I'm talking about what are the goals for your relationship? What are the goals for your life? Where do you want to live? Do you want to have kids? When do you want to retire? Do you like to travel? Do you have a certain list of countries you want to check off and places you want to go and things you want to do? What goals do you have in your life that are important to you? That is where you want to see alignment. You want to see that she has similar shared goals. Number 7, it makes her happy to nurture and support you. The feminine by nature is a nurturer, and any woman who is really in her feminine will most likely want to nurture her man, her children, even sometimes her friends and family and other people around her, because that's what the feminine does. She nurtures things. So she should be happy to nurture and support you. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that she needs to take care of you. She needs to wait on you hand and foot and be your servant. That is not what I am talking about. But what I am talking about is she should be willing, not just even willing, she should be happy to nurture you, to support you, to do the things that it takes for you to be the masculine, to be the provider, to go out and do battle in the work world or whatever. It should make her happy to do those things. And number 8, kind of similar to that, she should want to make your life easier. Her being in your life should make your life better, easier, more high quality. And she should want and strive to do that. Again, goes both ways. You should be making her life easier too. There are things that you can do for her that she doesn't want to do. I was in a coaching call recently, and the woman was saying, how can I let my man know that I really want him to step up around my house that I own and take a little bit more charge and do things? Because that's what she wanted. So for us as a man, we can step in there and make her life easier by saying, okay, I will take over fixing things at your house or making sure this is working or whatever. But she should want to do the same thing too. And there are many, many ways that women can make our lives easier as a man. And she should want to make your life easier, just like we should want to make her life easier. Number 9, she loves and at least occasionally initiates sex. Too many times I have heard from men, she never wants sex, she never initiates sex. Well, okay, in the beginning, when you were getting to know each other and you were dating, did you have that conversation? How important is sex to you? Is this something that's an important part of your life? Because as a man, if it is important to me, and I want this woman to be in my life, then I need to know that it's important to her also. So you should be looking for that quality in a woman. Does she love sex? Is this something that is important to her in her life in order to have a happy and balanced, fulfilling life and relationship? And if it's not, and it is for you, then maybe this isn't the right relationship for you. But that is definitely something that you want to look for. And then, of course, is she at least occasionally initiating? Now, we know when we're talking about polarity stuff, it's always about, well, you're the man and you should take charge and you should be the one initiating. Okay, most of the time that's true, and a lot of the time she will actually want that. However, we as men, of course, want to know that we're not just having to always be the one, and it's like we're always begging or we're always asking. We want to know that she also wants it enough to initiate from time to time. Number 10, she operates primarily from her feminine. One of the things that we see today is that so many women are operating from their masculine. Now remember, we all have masculine and feminine energies in us. In general, males will be primarily masculine energy with a little bit of feminine, and in general, females will primarily be feminine energy with a little bit of masculine. It's usually how it works. I do see and recognize that it can be different in some people, but in general, that's how it works. However, for many reasons, and I don't necessarily blame women, I understand what the reasons are. Many women have found that to operate in this society, they need to be in their masculine. As we all know, that creates a big problem with polarity in the relationship and can cause a whole host of problems. Now, for us men, believe it or not, a lot of us get attracted to masculine women in the beginning because we're like, wow, she's really got her stuff together. Like, she gets stuff done and she's doing this, she's doing that. But we come to resent it later on in the relationship when they end up competing with us and complaining and criticizing and, all of that stuff. So what you really want to look for is a woman that is primarily operating in her feminine. That means when she's relating with you in the context of the relationship, she is firmly in her feminine, you are firmly in your masculine. That doesn't mean that she can't be in her masculine. Maybe she's got a job where she gets to be in her masculine, right? She's the boss and she's telling people what to do. Maybe at least when you're dating, maybe she's a single mom when you're dating, so she's got to kind of wear the pants most of the time. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, when she's relating with you, she should be relating primarily from her feminine. Number 11, you have common interests. The things that you like to do on a regular basis, you have in common. If you don't have at least a decent amount of common interests, you're going to find that you're spending a lot of time apart from each other. Or if you're spending time together, one or both of you is going to be feeling like, I wish I could be doing X, right? So it's important that you have a common interest. Now, that doesn't mean everything has to be in common. In fact, I think it's really healthy if you have things that are in common that you do together and things that you do on your own. So I'm really big into extreme sports. I don't necessarily expect my partner to be into extreme sports as long as she allows me the space to do those things and go bombing down, ski resort mountains on my bike, right? As long as she allows the space for that, I don't need her to be bombing down there. But I do need her to, say, enjoy being in nature because that is something I love to do. So she would want to go hiking with me or camping with me or swimming in a lake or something like that, going to the beach, anywhere that is in nature. So there needs to be some common interests there. Number 12, you have a lot of fun together and you frequently lose track of time. You will look at the time and go, oh my God, has it already been 4 hours? That is a sign of somebody that you are really compatible with. Now, sometimes that can happen early on in the honeymoon phase and then it kind of fizzles off. But if it's sticking around past those early moments when you're dating, that is a very good sign. I mean, my wife and I, we could get on a road trip and drive for 5 hours and notice that we never even turned on the radio because we were engaged in interesting conversation the entire time. And we're like, wow, was that 5 hours already? That is one of the things that you want to look for in a woman. Number 13, she sees your greatness. She sees your greatness and she does everything that she can to help you be the greatest that you can possibly be. You see this all the time in sitcoms and movies and other TV shows where the woman looks at her man with disgust. Like, what a pathetic loser. Why in the world would you want to be in a relationship with somebody that looked at you that way? You want to be in a relationship with somebody that looks at you like, man, my man is just the most amazing human on the planet. That's how you want her to see you. You want her to look at you and recognize your greatness. You know, it's a tough world out there. It's a competitive world out there. And a lot of times we get down as men competing in this world. And it's really amazing when our partner can look at us and say, I see your greatness. I see your potential. You can do this, and I want to help support you in doing this. You definitely want your woman to be able to do that for you. And lastly, number 14. I had to put this on the list, had to do it. She craves your cock. You definitely want a woman who craves your cock, who looks at you at least from time to time like a piece of meat and is like, I want more of that. Now, of course, that is going to require you to be a sexual master. And if you have not mastered your sexuality yet, if you cannot last as long as you want, if you cannot take her on multiple waves of orgasmic, ecstatic bliss, then she's probably not going to be craving your cock. So make sure that if you can't do those things, you learn how to do them. Of course, you can check out my programs at powermastery.com. You can also hire me to coach you privately so that you can get there. But however you get there, you want her to crave your cock. All right, everybody, I hope that was helpful. I hope that this maybe reframes for you a little bit what you should really be looking for when you're out there dating and trying to find your partner. And as always, if you need any help on your journey, I am here to support you. So go to kevinandceline.com/link in bio. That link is in the description, and that's where you can find links to my entire ecosystem, my online courses, my passion vault, how you can work with me, my podcast. It's all right there.